What do you make of the U.S. government now taking interest?
Yeah, it's just a banner week for Apple. We're ahead of earnings, lots of reports of order cuts. Now we're talking about the U.S. government, the Department of Justice, investigating Apple sort of scaling back the performance of iPhones in order to avoid reboots. It's interesting. It's still in the early days of the investigation. Who knows how far it will go? I think they'll end up finding out that Apple wasn't doing this to boost sales, which would be something that the DOJ would be interested in, the SEC for sure. So we'll see what happens.
Apple has, of course, responded. They, have offered the solution to replace your battery, but there is concern that that is going to put a significant dent in sales. How big a dent could that be?
Yeah, it's interesting because sometimes people were buying new iPhone models versus paying the fee in the process of going to the Genius Bar to get the battery switched out. So it'll be interesting to see if they're going to take any unit-based or sales hit from people not buying those anymore because they're going to upgrade just their batteries because it's cheaper now, only $30.
So, talk to us about these iPhone 10 cuts. Are they cutting orders? What's happening?
Right. Yeah, this is deja vu. I feel like if I've been here for the last 10 years, we'd have this conversation every January for the past decade. These reports come out of the Asia supply chain almost annually, like clockwork, right ahead of earnings in the December-January time frame. What to make of it? I think Apple orders more iPhones than necessary in order to, meet their supply and demand balance. Is this going to make a big impact on their earnings? No, because I find it very unlikely that Apple will miss guidance in any significant way or even at all, because they're usually good about that, and that's what investors care about, revenue.
So you don't think there's any significant kind of mismatch happening here?
It's very possible. It's possible that they forecasted they'd sell more iPhone 10s they thought they would sell more iPhone 10s than they did, but in the end they sold more iPhone 8s and older iPhones, the SE, the 6, and the 7, which isn't particularly bad news anyways, because what investors care about are the overall revenue numbers as well as the iPhone ASPs. And as Apple diversifies its iPhone product lineup, and maybe its entire product lineup, investors will have to get used to that new norm.